Right now we are in Crownpoint, kind of like in the heart of native country. So over here they have a store named Bashas, and this is where everybody pretty much shops for all their stuff. We're here to get mutton. Hopefully they have some, and see what else we can get. The wife wants some donuts. I guess they have a little deli in here, so we're gonna check it out and get some stuff before we head home. We came to get the baby's CIB. Those of y'all that don't know what that is, it's a certificate of Indian blood, which all natives need in order to be able to get benefits and stuff like that. And it's funny because we're cruising around and there's a dog just right here in the middle of the parking lot. They call these res dogs out here. The res dog. It's some kind of husky mix. But yeah, I'll show you the inside of the store if I can. I don't know how weird it'll be for me filming in there or not, so we'll check it out. There's no donuts. Oh well, the wife's disappointed.
There's no donuts.
No donuts. Spam is huge here on the res. Lots of spam. Spam, spam. It's pretty cool. So it's like a variety pack of pork, beef, and mutton. That's mutton right there for 25 bucks. Dube.
Dube?
Uh-huh.
That means
Sheep.
Dube is sheep, and then
Bits.
Bitsy. It's like the inside stuff.
Oh.
The parts.
The stuff that goes inside the sheep.
The parts.
Ah, gotcha. That was Bashas here in Crownpoint. So we got a little bit of everything, I guess, and the wife found her donuts.
I got meatloaf.
And she got meatloaf. So she's, her and baby are happy in the back. We're gonna head back. I got a ambitious meal plan for later, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna make some mutton with fry bread, some calabacitas, which is squash with cheese and corn and all that, and onion. So that's gonna be tasty as a side. And some asparagus, as the wife would say, asparagus. So we're gonna get home. I got a doctor's appointment here at 5 o'clock. I gotta do a routine checkup with the doc, check my blood pressure. More information on that later, because I don't know if he said that if it is what he thinks it might be, as far as my blood pressure being high, I might have to have surgery, which sucks. But I mean, I gotta get it fixed. Next week I'm getting this fixed, thank God, because that's annoying. It makes me so self-conscious, like even watching videos, like my tooth is just sticking out. It's horrible. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're gonna head back. It's about an hour drive or so back home, get some stuff done, get the groceries put away, and then I will be cooking that dinner. So like I said, stay tuned for that if you want to check it out. Hey everybody, made it home. So I'm gonna go ahead and marinate the mutton that I got. This is what I use. I use this right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's called Kinder's Prime Steak. It has black garlic and truffle in it. I'm gonna use a little bit of that, the good old seasoned salt, like everybody probably uses. Some oil, a little bit of water, and I'm gonna throw them in here. Get that all mixed up. Let it sit for a minute. I have the oven set already. I'm gonna put that at 225, and I know y'all think that that's low to cook them. I'm not trying to cook them all the way through. I'm just trying to tenderize them a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go out to my appointment, let them cook, do their thing, soften up, and then I'm going to come back and pan fry them, and you'll see that. I normally would do it outside on the grill, but it's cold as hell outside, and I really don't feel like going outside to cook those. So we're going to see how that comes out, and then when I come back, I'll go ahead and throw in the asparagus, and I'll start making the calabacitas, like I said. And if y'all don't know what that is, all it is squash, Mexican squash with corn, cheese, and onion in it. It's really good. You'll see that. And then we'll top it off with just, like I said, they'll call it with asparagus and maybe some salad on the side and fry bread. And we're making fry bread too. I already have the pan over here ready for that. I might actually make the dough now so it can sit while I'm gone. And then yeah, we'll just go from there. Excuse the mess. We just had a little birthday party for my nephew, so we haven't quite finished cleaning everything up. If not, all this would be put away. But it is what it is, and there's only so much time in a day that we can do stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and marinate those and we'll go from there. And this is what we ended up getting. It's just the lamb, fresh leg of lamb. So this is off the leg right here. I got 2 of these packs. We're gonna throw those in, and then, like I said, we'll let them sit for a little bit while the oven is heating up. We'll get those nice and bathed in our little concoction here, and it'll come out nice and yummy. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. My wife will tell you the same thing. Natives out here tend to not use a lot of seasoning. Like, a lot of their food is bland, to put it nicely. And my wife enjoys the way I cook because I add flavor to it. I'm Mexican, man. We grew up using salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, all that fun stuff. Bouillon, stuff that makes your food taste good, So she really does enjoy that. Her family does as well. Every time grandma comes over, like I'm talking about her grandma, I call her grandma because she's my grandma too. Yeah, she loves my cooking. Last time I think I made a garlic pesto pasta with garlic bread, like everything homemade. Oh, she went down for seconds and she took some home. So, it's kind of a compliment when the elders, know that that your cooking skills are good. But we're gonna let those sit, and then I'll throw them on a pan, throw them in the oven, and then we'll forget about them for a while, and that's what we're gonna do. So the next thing I'm making here is going to be the fry bread. So I'm going to make the dough for it already. I'll be honest with you, measurement wise, I kind of stopped measuring once I got better at making the dough. I could tell you that it's probably about 2 cups of flour, a pinch of salt, some baking powder. Make sure you use warm water. Warm water is key. Not cold, not hot, warm water, and a little bit of oil. That's going to be all thrown in, not at the same time. That is also very important. So what I do is I throw in the flour, and it's usually this one right here, the Bluebird. That's what we like to use, Bluebird. Then we'll throw in I'll throw in the pinch of baking powder, a little bit of salt. Then I mix all that up, boom, 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 and then I start throwing in the warm water as I go. Measurement wise, I couldn't tell you, probably less than a cup until the dough basically is solid, so where it's sticky enough to where it's a little sticky, but not to where it's gonna stick all over your fingers, if that makes any sense. And that's pretty much all we do. It's pretty simple. I'm not really gonna make a lot because it's only a few of us, and I don't want to waste it, so I'm gonna go ahead and just probably go a little bit more here because maybe we'll want some for the morning. So we're gonna do that. Okay, close that up. There we go. Baking powder's next, so we're gonna throw in some baking powder. Not baking soda, mind you, it's baking powder. I've made that mistake before, and it just makes everything all crusty and crumbly. Throw in the salts. So like I said, this is just a pinch of salt. You don't want a lot of it. That's very optional, actually. My wife doesn't put salt in hers, and hers come out really good. I just prefer salt because, like I said, Mexicans, we put salt in our dough. Like, even when we're making tortillas, like, if you look up a good Mexican tortilla recipe, it'll tell you to put in a pinch of salt. So I'm just used to doing that. So there we go. We're going to do that. And I realize that this is not for dough, but I prefer to use this. So sue me, whatever. And then oil. And the oil is going to be very little. And this is pretty much the same recipe they use for tortillas. So I only put in a little bit, just enough to I guess, soften up the dough. If that's what it does, then we're gonna mix all that up really, really good. Make sure there's no crumblies. Once I get this mixed up, what I do after that, I go in with my hands, and then I make sure that there's no big clumps of oil. So the oil will kind of clump up in a ball. I don't know if you can see that or not. The little balls, giggity. Yeah, make sure there's none of that. So go through. There you go. And if you use a little bit more oil, make sure you go through and make sure this step is very important, because then if not, you're just gonna get a bunch of little clumpy pieces of oil dough. So that'll be kind of weird. And we're gonna go ahead. Let's see here. I think that's about right. There we go. Boom, boom. Now remember what I said, kids. Warm water. Not cold, not hot. Warm water. So we're going to start slowly adding that in. So I'm going to put in a good little dollop here. I don't think that's a dollop. Is that a dollop? I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and give that a little mix. Let the flour absorb the warm water, not the hot water, not the cold water, but the warm water. I'm going to let that do that. And it's the same recipe for tortillas. So if you wanted to just heat up your griddle, roll these out, and make tortillas out of them, it would be the same thing that I use anyways. I mean, I know some of y'all like butter tortillas and stuff like that. I'm not too fond of that. I'll eat them. I think that's how my grandmother used to make them once upon a long time ago. God rest her soul. But now it's me doing it. And this is just how I prefer to do it. So eventually this is going to create a nice little lump of dough, and then I will roll it out after that. And then we'll just let it sit. And that's kind of important too. Let your dough sit for a while. Sometimes, I know that if you're in a hurry, you got to make them quick, then you got to use it right away. But I think it gives it a better flavor and a little fluffiness when you let them sit for a little while. When you let the dough sit anyways for a little bit. So that's just my take on things. I'm no expert on tortillas or fry bread, but that's just kind of how I do it. Okay, so this is getting to start solidifying a little bit. Stab it. Kill it. Okay, so now that we got the dough a little more solid here, I'm going to throw it. Well, I'm not going to throw it, but I'm going to put it on the thing here. I'm going to put out some flour just so that it doesn't stick to the counter. Whoa, it's a lot. Oh well, we'll use it. Even if I had to add more water. So we're going to go ahead and, you know what, let's add a little tiny bit more water. There we go. Okay, so we'll get getting our hands dirty now. And I use this spatula because like this part is kind of gross. It feels weird in my hands. You don't have to. I mean, you can just do this and you're good. But I just prefer to do it that way. I think I might need a little bit more water. And it's always good to just have your water handy, so as you need it, you just pour it in. Instead of having to go back and forth to the sink. There it is. Oh yeah. That sound is like making mac and cheese. Those of y'all that know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I probably put too much water, but that's okay because I put a lot of dough over here, or flour anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and roll this out now. So we're gonna get all the sticky parts here. My dogs are freaking out back there. So we inherited my son's dog again, my older son, because she wasn't doing too good where she was at. So my dogs are barking at her. I let her go in the backyard because she's kind of staying in the garage right now. Because my other dog is kind of a meanie and she beats her up, which is the reason that she wasn't living here anymore. I felt bad for her because my dog kept kicking her ass basically. And then so we gave her to my wife's brother, and they have a lot going on, so we went ahead and took her back because I mean they got a little baby and they got twins on the way, stuff like that. So they, you know, I think she's just better off here where we can at least pay attention to her a little more and you know, get her well fed and everything. They just, like I said, they have a lot going on, so it's all good. So we'll nurse her back to where she needs to be, and that'll be that. So this is pretty much almost ready. And see how it's kind of sticky, but then it's not. That's kind of how you want it. I might add a little more flour to it later once it rises a little more. Actually, let's just do that now, so we don't have to mess with it anymore. So we're gonna add a little more flour, just a tiny bit. And those of y'all that are native, you know, put in the comments how you make your fried bread. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Tell me if I'm messing it up. It's like, tell me if I don't know how to fry bread. I don't know, whatever. So, but I kind of took what my wife taught me and made it my own. Like I said, I am Hispanic, so of course we do things a little different. A lot of our food is the same. It's just prepared differently, I guess, you know, but I love native food. Indian tacos or native Navajo tacos, whatever you want to call them. The burgers, ooh, mutton, which is what we're making today. Green chili stew. I remember 2 years ago, I think, actually probably about 3 years ago now, we went to at Sky City for a feast. We got invited because my wife knows one of the natives up there. So he invited us over to his home with his family and all that. And I don't think I've eaten that much in my whole life. Everything was so good and they were so nice to me, and they just kept putting food in front of me. It was freaking awesome. Like I don't know if anybody's ever been to Sky City, but then you got to walk down that big ass hill. Oh, so full. Like you could have really just rolled me down, and you know. All right, so there you go. There's your ball of dough, and then we're gonna go ahead and put this in here. Boop. We'll throw that in there, and then I'm gonna cover it. I need to find a towel or something to cover that with. This is covered now, so we're gonna set this aside. We'll come back to that when we need it. This is the pan I'm gonna use, so we're just gonna go ahead and put these in here. And like I said, I know that this isn't the way that y'all cook yours. Y'all are used to burning them or, you know, overcooking it. This is the way I do it, and you know, hopefully it comes out tasty, because last time that I did it like this, it was amazing. I think they had butchered and they gave us a leg. So I cooked it you know, marinated it, cooked it in the oven, and oh my Lord, it was so good. I think even Grandma had some, and she was like, oh, she was surprised that that was actually mutton. I was like, yeah, I just cooked it a little different, and that's all I did. And that's it. I'm gonna have to use 2 pans here, and that's okay. So the reason I'm using these pans is so that when it starts letting off all the juices and all that, because it's kind of greasy, my wife likes to save that grease, and she dips her fry bread in it, which that's actually pretty good. And I'm gonna save that grease from this. That way, when I take the steaks out and use them on the grill, this will be full of grease, and I'll just put it into a cup for her, and yum yum yum. She will enjoy that, and as well as I will if she saves me any. But these are ready to go in the oven, and I gotta hurry up because I gotta go pick up the kiddos, and then I gotta bring them back, and then go to my appointment, and then come back and finish cooking. So we'll catch up to you guys a little later. I'm popping these in the oven now. The way I do my asparagus, I'll just put it in foil. I cut off the butt, I guess, because it used to be like this much longer. Has all that white part to it. I cut that off, and then I'll add butter and salt and pepper, wrap it up, and we'll throw it in the oven. That's pretty simple. That's all I do with mine. And that's pretty much all it looks like. It looks like a burrito. Just wrap it up, and I'll throw that in the oven, and I'll just let it cook in the oven until dinner's ready, really. That way they get nice and soft and tender, and they'll be nice and tasty. And the squash that I'm using is just a Mexican squash. That's it. I'll chop that up, and then I'm going to prep it now. Do the fry bread first, and then I'll fry this up later, though. But that way, at least it's ready to go. And that's pretty much what it is. That's how I cut it up, just like that. Onions, I was going to cut some, but I found some pre-diced onions that they use for the party. I'm going to use those so I can repurpose that, and nothing goes to waste. And I'm gonna let that sit there because that's all I need for this, other than the canned corn, which I have nothing to do other than open the can and strain out the juice and pour it in when I need it. So that's for the squash there. We'll set that aside, and now the fry bread. And we have our ball of dough here. You can see kind of I'd say it's about half, a little more than, not double the size, but half that size. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll those out. I'll roll those out over here, and then I'll show you here in a second. And the pan, you really kind of want it to be pretty hot. I already put more lard in there. I usually use this one right here, the Snow Cap Lard Morel. And then I'll let the pan heat up and start rolling out the bread, the fry bread, and we'll fry it up. I'll show you that here in a second. Still not quite good at this, but I've gotten better, I guess. You want it kind of thin, but they're not too thin. It's kind of a work in progress. I'm still learning. I mean, I know some of y'all are really good at this probably. I'm not quite there yet, but I mean, it'll do. My father-in-law used to like my fry bread. Like, he would ask me to make it for him. So that's about the size you want it. Some people do a little, hole in the middle there. I'll show you. Some people will do that little kind of divot in the middle. And that way the steam or air and everything comes out. I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but I mean, I do it just because my wife does it, I guess. So we're going to let the oil heat up, and then we'll start rolling these out. My wife's preferred flipping method is a fork. I don't do that because I'm afraid to. I'm not quite as good as she is. I'll use tongs. And then I think the fire's ready here. So you're gonna hear, that's the fan. It's loud, I'm sorry. But yeah. So once that oil starts smoking like that, then it's ready to go. Once your fry bread bubbles like this and it's brown on the edges like that, then it's time to flip. So we'll flip. Might have cooked it a little too long. Then we'll stack it like that, and then cover it so that way it softens up. Much apologies, I had to cut that video short where it was at, where I stopped making the fry bread, I think it was. I started getting sick. The medication they had me on for my high blood pressure just wasn't really responding to me well. The doctor readjusted, and I'm hoping that that will make me feel a lot better. It kind of has so far, but yeah, I had to kind of stop that video short because it started giving me my feelings of depression and just being tired, anxiety, all that stuff, which it shouldn't do, but I think we got it adjusted now. I'm feeling way better today. I only had a nap once, and that wasn't too bad. I just found myself getting tired throughout the day, sleepy, and just feeling depressed and stuff, even when I was at work and stuff. So hopefully this fixes that. I do have another, though, that video that I filmed at Bashas and everything was quite a few days ago. I'm finishing it out now. I'm going to edit the rest of it now, and then I'll go ahead and upload that tonight. And I have another video that I'm filming tonight, as a matter of fact. I know I'm getting a little ambitious, but I'm going to do a testing out my camping gear, all the stuff that I have that I bought for camping that's just been sitting there. I'm going to test that all out tonight in the back yard, and then that way we make sure that it's going to withstand the cold, the sleeping bag, and the tent and all that stuff. We'll see how that goes. And I have a stealther coming really, really soon. I'm gonna scout out the spot tomorrow or the next day, and hopefully I can do that maybe on the weekend or throughout the week. I don't know yet because there's a high school that's kind of close by there, and I don't want it to feel weird. Like I'd rather do it on the weekend when there's nobody there and everything. So we'll see though. I mean, I don't think it's that close where it's kind of strange, but it's up on a hill. Anyhow, I'm gonna end up this video. I do appreciate everybody following along. And as always, please consider subscribing if you can stand this kind of stuff. If you can stand me just talking and staring at the camera and, looking at you and doing that. And yeah, make sure you like the videos, comment on the videos. And those of y'all that are native, please tell me that I did something right, did it wrong, something that I can do better. Y'all let me know. I don't really care. I mean, I take criticism well. But other than that, love y'all. Peace out. Have a great day.